And we're now joined by Chris Nelson, Chairman of the British Chamber of Commerce Philippines. Thanks for joining us, Chris. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Rain. Very nice to meet you and welcome to all your viewers.
Nice to see you again. Now, how has the pandemic changed the way the British Chamber had to conduct its business? Were there targets that were missed because of the pandemic? And how successful do you think maybe your campaigns for the travel ban exemptions and economic stimulus been?
Okay, so if I take it in order, yes, of course, we've had to pivot. We've had to support our members. We've been involved in over 100 webinars since March, and obviously we haven't had a physical event since March. That's been a significant change. In terms of our targets, clearly one of our major activities is also socially, I think. Clearly we didn't have any Christmas event. We did it virtually this year. So in terms of major events where we would obviously bring people together, and that obviously is a source of revenue to the Chamber, but we've had to make up in other areas. With regard to your last point, on the travel bans, we're pushing, like a lot of chambers, for the restrictions to be eased up, particularly with respect to 9G, the main working visa. We've made some progress. We've had a lot of interaction. We understand the safety protocols and we fully observe and accept them. But at the same time, we think if they could further ease those up, it gives a welcoming sign. Regarding economic stimulus, obviously we've had discussions in the Chamber over the Arise bill, which is 1.3 trillion, which was not obviously passed. There's other activities. We continue to urge for further stimulus and further activity. So overall, that gives you a review. I'd say probably a mixed picture, but with some obviously progress.
Right, and you were saying that perhaps some accomplishments could be made up over time. What would you say would be the notable accomplishments the BCC did make this year, and perhaps extraordinary achievements given the pandemic?
Well, look, I think what's extraordinary is the work done by and help of our members and staff. We've actually managed to grow and gain a few members during this time, and obviously there's been a lot of impact on members and income. So we remain over 300 members, and we've grown that. We've actually attracted more people because of the webinars. We've had over 4,500 people attend. We've managed to get some companies to be interested in the UK, in the Philippine economy, and actually have done work for them and showing continuing interest. So I'd say our notable achievement is continuing to reach out for our members, advocating on key issues such as travel ban, foreign investment, and at the same time gaining, in cooperation, I must stress, with many of the European chambers to get a greater audience for this activity. Hence, we've reached over 4,500 people.
Right. Well, Chris, you did mention the interest in the Philippines. The number of British companies locating in the Philippines continues to rise based on the data that you showed us, despite the pandemic, and mainly in the food and drink, automotive, and advanced manufacturing sectors. Can you share with us how many of new members, locators that you were able to convince to come over, and what have been the strongest incentives for them to push through with expansion in the Philippines?
Okay, I mean, those are the companies we've discussed and assisted. We've interacted. We haven't managed to locate 2,600, to be clear, but we've had interactions with over 2,000 companies, and a number of those have obviously done business. One of the key attractions to the Philippines is, of course, the population. The population's 110. It's growing, it's dynamic, it's young, and it's the talented workforce. I can't give you specific numbers on new ones that have come in, but they're very much attracted by the workforce, by the fact that the Philippines is a dynamic entity and people are looking to grow, and they're very much attracted to consumer durable. And in that respect, because we have excellent brands from the UK, we strongly support the Retail Trade Liberalisation Act, and we're very optimistic that this Congress will pass it.
How much in investments and employment do you think these locators would be able to bring the Philippine economy? Is there a number to that yet?
There isn't a number to that yet, but I think, and what I would stress here, of course, is that the Philippine economy is obviously challenged in the short term, as are many economies around the world. However, what I think we continually stress to companies, and we've been very successful in that, in terms of those discussions we have, And as you will appreciate, you have to undergo a lot of discussions to get people to the first step. Hence, our interaction is with many companies before we can move to that step. And that is the fact that the longer-term potential of this market. We always stress to companies the Philippine economy has grown at 6%, that this is obviously a short-term but very severe challenge, which we appreciate. However, the longer-term potential with the workforce, dynamic way it's been growing, and the opportunities, particularly as I said, in the food, retail, and drink, which are ones we focus on, is there and very evident. And it will lead to further increase in trade and investment between the two entities.
And so, Chris, with how you and British firms here have pivoted in a time of corona, how are you preparing for 2021 and beyond? What economic climate are you expecting, and what would help further improve competitiveness and other conditions in the Philippines? You did already hint at trade liberalization.
Yes, I think so. The first thing is that we anticipate that 2021 will have continuing challenges, particularly, I think, in the first half of the year. Obviously, everybody's excited about the vaccine. I'd also just like to say that the Chamber has been and continues to be a strong supporter of Project ARC, which is Cherry Conception, and also Project Hope. And obviously, we had discussions the other day concerning, obviously, the vaccine and the potential there. But I still think you'll have some challenges, certainly during the first half of the year. I think what we're seeing as a signal, and I think that's very important at these stages, is to say to investors, look, we've passed the Retail Trade Liberalization Act. We're looking also at the overall Foreign Services Act. And if we can actually get people and open up, as I said, on the travel restrictions, this is a signal that the Philippines economy is there for, because what we want to grow here is foreign direct investment. So those are the signals we're looking for, and we will continue to communicate to our members. And look, I imagine that we will be continuing to do significant webinars. I just also like to make at this point that the support and our relationship with government departments, particularly Department of Trade and Investment, led by Secretary Lopez, I'd just like to wish him a very swift recovery. As we understand, obviously, he currently has COVID, but we're hoping he does very well. He's excellent, and we also work closely with his unit in London, which is the Philippine Trade and Investment Commission, of course, Ambassador Lactaneo. And I think if we keep this up, we can highlight the Philippines as a showcase and an entry to Southeast Asia. That has been what we've been stressing for the last 5 years in our partnership with the Department of International Trade of the UK, and that's what we're going to continue to do. So I think, in summary, challenges, certainly first half, it will improve. Optimistic, obviously, with the vaccine, get the economy, but we continue to work, and we need to work together. And if we can pass those laws and open up and get people here who are going to invest, it will be a great signal.
Right. Well, we can't let you go without having to ask you this question. Now, the continued difficulty on the Brexit deal, what should we expect come January 1st? And should we expect that the break to affect British and European trade with the Philippines? So far, analysts have said there will be minimal to no effect, if any.
Yes, look, it's been said before and said many times that, of course, currently the Philippines operates with the UK under the EU agreement, and it's anticipated that will roll on. Regarding the negotiations, look, we are one of our main leads in the UK is the British Chamber of Commerce, led by Adam Marshall. They have been very clear that, of course, British businesses, and let's not forget over 60% of the trade between UK and EU, needs to have a lot of clarity. Clearly, as noted in your earlier segment, we're literally at the 11th hour, and it's still hope there'll be an agreement. Personally, for the Philippines, I don't think there'll be, regarding that, I think the current agreement will stand in place. And actually, of course, as an issue, we have been promoting to UK companies the opportunities of Southeast Asia. And let's not forget, there have been free trade agreements signed in Singapore and with Vietnam. And obviously, we're optimistic we continue to do growth and opportunities in the Philippines. That's one of our key roles, is to highlight the opportunities here.
Well, much luck to you, and still a lot of prospects for 2021 and beyond. Chris Nelson, British Chamber of Commerce, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you sharing your insights with us.